Hello, everyone, and welcome to Audio Judo. I'm Matthew.
And I'm Kyle.
And this is your podcast of music discovery. Proud members of the Pantheon Podcast Network, your premier source for music podcasts, and apparently also movie podcasts, maybe, and some sports podcasts, and other general entertainment podcasts.
Generally entertaining, yes.
In addition to this program, we also produce two other podcasts. Audio Judo Does Jazz, about jazz. It's weird, right?
Whoa.
And Throughline, where we dive into the concept of albums, one record at a time. You can find all of these shows anywhere you get your podcasts or to audiojudo.com. Both of those shows are currently on hiatus, but we will let you know when they are ready to release new episodes.
As soon as their hernias are better.
That's right.
That's what hiatus means, right?
Hiatus.
A hiatus hernia.
Yank something. I'm going off air for a while.
I can't talk about albums anymore.
Kyle, what are we talking about today? Is it Rush?
It's
Tell me
not
it's
Rush.
God.
You know what? Right in the middle of all these Rush albums, I'm throwing you a full-on curveball. We're talking about a dance album. We're talking about Robyn's Body Talk from 2010.
A dance album.
A dance album. So...
A dance album.
A dance album.
Okay.
It's mostly dance music. Here's the interesting thing, though.
Sure.
It is actually, it's more of a tribute to 90s club music.
Oh.
Which it
really leans into my familiarity with 90s
of course.
club music.
I mean, I know you were big in the clubs in the 90s.
Huge.
You were basically one of the guys from the Night at the Roxbury, right?
Clubs.
Yeah.
Lots of them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, in all honesty, though, this isn't one of those like right place, right time albums for me.
Okay.
Because it came out in 2010, or started to come out in 2010, which we'll get to in a second. But it was right as I was kind of like coming back out of the worst point in my life.
Okay.
Which we've already talked about a little bit.
Yeah, we talked about that way in the way back time.
Yeah. And I was starting to like come out, and I was starting to have to make new friends and you know, be more social with my life. And this happened to be one of the albums that had come out at that time, and it was something to talk about, and it was something to connect with other people around. And so that's how I found it.
Okay.
And it has kind of been something that's just been in my rotation since. So something that's kind of always been, not always, but been there for 15 or 16 years now, just in the back of my music catalog, something that comes up all the time. So,
and I have zero familiarity with this artist.
there you go.
It's not really in my wheelhouse. I think I know or have heard one song on here, which we will get to in the track by track. I'm pretty sure. I'm not entirely sure. But I feel like I probably ran across it at some point around 2010-ish.
Yeah. There were some of these songs have been used in various TV and movies.
Okay.
A few of them, a couple of them did get pretty good radio play in the U.S. for a little while there. Not a huge album though, if I'm totally honest with you, sales-wise.
Sales-wise, not. Critically, though, that's completely different.
Yeah.
And something that you alluded to, I think we should address right off the top, that it was essentially, this is a compilation of two different album cycles, EPs.
Yeah, this is where it gets a little confusing.
Sure.
So it was originally going to be two parts. And let's go back a little bit further. You know what? Let's talk about Robyn first.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea.
I think this will lead into it a little bit better. So, Robyn was originally born Robyn Miriam Carlson on June 12, 1979. She used to spell it Robyn with an I. Her professional name is Robyn with a Y. She is Swedish, and her parents were in charge of an independent theater group, and that's how she was introduced to the arts at a really young age. Obviously, that was also a huge influence on her personal style, her thoughts about how you present yourself and how you act around other people and things like that. At only 10 years old, 1989, she recorded the voice for a character named Miranda on the Swedish-Norwegian animated film The Journey to Melonia.
All right.
Yeah. Age 12, she recorded the theme song to a Swedish television show called, and I'm totally going to butcher this, but I think it's Lilla Sportspelgen, which means little sports mirror in English.
I'm going to say you nailed it.
All right, let's go for it. Anybody who speaks Swedish out there who's listening, correct me, please.
Oh, they will.
Yeah,
you know those Swedes.
Oh, yeah, they're so angry. Well, right now they're very angry about curling, but
well, yes, that's a whole different matter.
Yeah. She wrote and performed.
Don't get me started on curling. I go off for the next 45 minutes.
No, we can't do that. She wrote and performed her first original song that same year. What would this be? 1991. Only 12 years old, and performed it on TV. She was then discovered by Swedish pop singer Maja from the band Legacy of Sound. They were actually visiting Robyn's school as part of a musical workshop, and they were impressed with her performance. That's pretty cool. I'm curious to know. I couldn't find any information about this. Is that like a normal thing in Sweden? For like, oh, hey, there's these major pop stars, and they just go around to elementary schools and middle schools and like run musical.
I'm
workshops.
saying it's a possibility. It's not as big as other countries, so maybe was it an art school?
Didn't sound like it.
Oh.
It sounded like a regular middle school.
So they're just going around to like whatever their theater department. They're like, we're showing up, and it's a Swedish version of Guys and Dolls, and I'm all in.
Right.
Let's do it.
Anyways, after that, some management meetings were set up with Robyn and her parents. And after completing middle school at age 14, she signed with a company called Ricochet Records Sweden. She later signed with RCA Records that same year and released her debut single, You've Got That Something, in Sweden. She released another single later that year, Do You Really Want Me? Show Respect. And that was her breakout song. That went fairly well in Sweden, started to get her name out there. Those two singles, along with a few other tracks that she made, were rolled into her first album, which is called Robyn Is Here. Came out in October 1995. So remember, at this point, she is 16 years old. Her U.S. breakout would come in 1997, so 2 years later, with her hit singles Show Me Love and Do You Know What It Takes. Show Me Love, if you were around in the 90s, the late 90s.
I mean, I was around.
You've heard that song. I guarantee you've heard it.
Right.
Do You Know What It Takes and Show Me Love both reached top 10 spots on the Billboard Hot 100, so they were fairly popular.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Not the Dance 100, the actual?
The actual Billboard Hot 100, yeah.
Okay.
Between touring, recording, a bunch of live performances, Robyn burnt herself out. She was actually diagnosed with clinical exhaustion and told to take some time off, go back to Sweden, and recover. Bear in mind, at this point, she is 19 years old.
Yep.
She has completely burnt herself out at 19 years old. She went back to the studio a little while later to record and release her second album called My Truth in May 99. The single Electric was a huge commercial success that propelled her album to number 2 in Sweden. Sadly, though, that album wasn't released in the US because of a bunch of social pressures that were put on the record labels. Basically, there are 2 songs in here that are autobiographical in their lyrics that reference the fact that she had an abortion when she was a teenager. And the record labels felt that releasing that in the United States would tank any future possibility of her having a successful career in the US. So they didn't release it, which I think is really sad. It's an okay album. You can find it online still, obviously, but it's not anything super special, but I think it's a bummer that it didn't get a release.
Sure.
July 2001, she signed a new worldwide recording deal with a company called Jive Records because she was really upset with the lack of control she had with her current record company, BMG, who had purchased RCA in 94, so shortly after she signed. Sadly, Jive sold back to BMG not even a year later. And she basically said, I've come full circle. I'm right back where I started. October 2002, she released her third studio album, Don't Stop the Music. In Sweden, it did really well, but she was still frustrated with the lack of control over the content of the album and how it was marketed. In 2005, she announced she was leaving BMG to start her own label called Konnichiwa Records. Her fourth studio album and the first under the Konnichiwa Records label was called Robyn. Came out in March 2005. It was her first number 1 album in Sweden. It won her 3 Swedish Grammy Awards in 2006 for Best Album, Best Writer, which she shared with her collaborator Klaas Aland, and Best Pop Female. This is kind of where she started to really take off internationally. She started to collaborate with a lot of artists across Europe, the UK, and in the US on a lot of singles over the next few years. And she kind of started to do this thing where she was focusing on a lot of the singles. And her idea was that she would make a bunch of singles over the years and release them slowly as they were done. And then once they were to a good point, go ahead and turn it into an album.
Okay.
Right? That means that, the singles still generally kind of have something to do with one another, but they are also independent of one another. It's a really interesting choice. A lot of her own singles did really well in the UK. She had a song called With Every Heartbeat with an artist named Clear Up, who's also Swedish, that topped the UK singles charts. In 2007, Konichiwa Records signed a deal with Universal to be their international distributor. She also began to work on that idea, like I said, of individual singles releasing as soon as they're done, and then sort of combining them into an album, which is how she came up with the idea for the album we're going to talk about today, Body Talk. So like you mentioned, it is a trilogy. It started out as a two-parter.
Right.
And she was making all these singles and kind of still experimenting with them as she would come up with something she was happy with, release it, and then continue to work on the song after it had been officially released. And then she combined a lot of those second stage, which she had tweaked from the singles a little bit, into Body Talk Parts 1 and Part 2. And after that, she then sort of took them and continued to tweak them a little bit and released them combined into one album, which is what we're going to focus on today, called Body Talk. Mm-hmm. And then she was like, oh, actually, there's even more material. I'm going to release a third part, so now it's a trilogy. So she released a third EP/album called Body Talk Part 3.
That's why it was so difficult for me to figure out which songs I actually needed to cover.
Yeah. So
plus there's a German edition, and a this edition, and a standard edition, and it's like, which one is it?
Yeah. And then to make it even worse, the US edition and the international edition, they flip the first and third tracks. Mm. So it's just it's even more confusing. Yep. Oh, and the first track on the US edition is the radio version, not the album version. It's honestly, that part of it's really stupid, I think. You should have just either left them all as singles and released one album that's all of them combined or whatever. But what's really interesting to me too is when I first saw this, I was like, oh, obviously this is to boost sales. This is like a sales booster thing.
That's what you'd expect, yeah.
But it really didn't. By 2013, this had only sold 116,000 copies in the US. And internationally, it sold about 300,000 copies is the numbers that I was looking at by that same period.
Yeah, that's not huge.
No, and that's 3 years after it came out. So, and obviously those are older numbers and it might have boosted since then, but not huge numbers.
Yeah.
There was a BBC Newsbeat interview where she explained her decision to release all three of these albums at once or over time. And she said, quote, "It was just something I felt like I needed to do. I just never thought about selling records or not, making this decision. I just did it for myself. It's a way for me to stay inspired and to be able to do things I like to do." So, maybe if you're really not concerned about the sales and you're not concerned about, you just want the music out there and you want to be inspired, maybe this does help. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, it's a choice.
Yeah. Part 1, June 2010 is when it released. From that, the single Dancing on My Own was Robyn's first #1 single in Sweden and her fourth top 10 single in the UK and the US. Peaked at number 8 on the UK singles chart and number 3 on Billboard's Hot Dance Club Songs chart. September 2010 is when Part 2 came out, and Part 3, but not really Part 3, the album we're going to talk about, came out in November 2010. And then, like you said, though, critically very well received.
Yeah, number 8 on Pitchfork's list of best 200 albums of 2010s, ranked number 196 on Rolling Stone's list of 500 greatest albums of all time, which is, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. They also called it the best dance pop album of 2010, so.
Okay, that's fine, but this is once again, this is a list of the 500 greatest records ever made
of all time,
and this is 196.
Yeah,
and the things it's ahead of, it's an embarrassment of riches. Like it's so hard. It's so hard for me to look at, and it has nothing to do with my tendency to lean towards rock and roll, because there's plenty of country records on there that are better. That, quite honestly, and I don't understand how that gets voted on. I don't understand who's the decider. Yeah. It frazzles my nerves to some degree, because you see albums, and not this, because it's a fine record. It's an excellent dance record for someone who doesn't really listen to dance records. Sure. It wasn't unenjoyable. So I just don't get it. I'm not sure I'm ever going to be able to break through that kind of that firewall in my head.
It's definitely an unusual, because it changes so much. When you look at, because I think, you go back and you look at the one from the early 2000s and then the mid 2010s and then the 2021, and it's like there are albums that were like, oh, in the mid 2000s, it's like, of course, that classic album is on there. It's something that's huge. It's way up in the numbers. And by the mid 2000 teens, it's not on the list anymore.
Right.
And you're like, were there really enough that it pushed a top 25 album off this list entirely?
Yeah.
And then in 2020, it's back. And you're like,
is this a reader driven
I don't know
thing? Like, do they say, hey, everybody who reads Rolling Stone, we want you to send in your top 100 records, and then they assign a point system based on where it is on there, and then they assemble all the points, and that's where albums end up.
This is actually
if that were the case, that would be a little bit more understandable.
Yeah. This is actually the only other thing the Electoral College does.
Oh, God.
It's the president and the Rolling Stone top 500 albums of all time.
So they screwed us both times?
Screwed us again.
So it's all...
You screwed me again, Penny Packer.
Penny Packer. It's also like what Apple Music said it was number 100 on their 100 best albums of all time.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, I mean it's pretty good shit. I get it, but I have no familiarity with this record whatsoever. So it did really well critically without me knowing about it at all.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, on the Matthew top 500 list, it's not even on there, I'm assuming.
Well, no.
Well, no.
Come on. You want me to do that list? Because I'll do it.
Sometime, maybe
I'll
you
do
should.
a 500.
That should be like a bonus episode. Is just Matthew just listing them.
I just listed my 500.
No commentary, nothing else. It's just you reading 500 albums in a row.
Yep.
And getting drier and drier mouthed and number 487. We're not going to let you drink until you're done.
I'll start putting that list together.
Weirdly, though, like you said, very well received critically, but because of the low sales numbers, it only went to number 142 on the U.S. Billboard 200 and number 168 on the UK albums chart and fell off the charts very quickly.
Yeah.
But it did hit number 3 on the U.S. Top Dance Albums chart and number 2 on the Swedish albums chart. So, yeah.
Well, she's big in Sweden.
She's huge in Sweden.
Just like the Hoff is big in Germany.
Yeah.
I mean, you have fan bases.
Exactly. The majority of the music on here and lyrics are also a collaboration with a guy named Klaus Auland, who's a Swedish songwriter and producer. He's worked with Robyn a ton over her career, but he's also worked with a ton of other artists, including The Weeknd, Katy Perry, Kesha, Sugar Babes, Britney Spears, Swedish House Mafia, Iggy Pop, Madonna, Snoop Dogg, Charlie XCX, Ghost, Teddy Bears, Usher, Tove Lo, Axwell, and Ingrosso, Tayo Cruz, Ellie Goulding, Alesso, Carly Rae Jepsen, Elliot Sumner, Melody Club, Bo Casper's Orchestra.
So a list of nobodies.
A list of nobodies, yeah. Never heard of any of them. But there's also a whole bunch of other co-writers on here, musicians, producers. A lot of them are obviously Swedish, including a guy named Jacques Achland, who's Klaus's brother, who's a songwriter and producer in his own right. A guy named Patrick Berger, who's a Grammy-nominated composer, producer, and musician. Clear Up, who I mentioned a little while ago, who's an electronic music creator. Max Martin, who's a producer and songwriter. Røyksopp, who's a musical duo from Norway, so nearby up there. Shellback, who's a record producer and songwriter, as well as some U.S. collaborators and a couple of British collaborators as well. This album, like I said, because it's a weird combination of singles, at first I was like, well, obviously there's not a whole lot holding this album together, right? It's just a bunch of singles that she threw together. And then I got researching it a little bit more, and she said during an interview to Pitchfork in 2010, she said the whole album is really about being very lonely.
Yeah, I don't think they're not connected at all.
Yeah.
I think listening to them and reading what the lyrics are, they're quite connected.
Yeah. And in that same research, you start to find out that, it's also a breakup album. Because right before she started to work on this, she was dating a Swedish MMA fighter and visual artist named Ulf Inger.
Ulf.
O-L-O-F. Olof. Maybe Olaf? Olaf.
That makes more sense.
Olaf. He's gonna kick my ass. He's a former MMA fighter. He's gonna show up and beat the shit out of me. The door's gonna break open behind me any minute now. But they were breaking up, and she felt incredibly lonely, and she really did have an experience where she was in New York City. She went to this nightclub, and she found herself surrounded by hundreds of people, loud dance music playing, everybody having a good time and drinking and dancing with one another. And she found herself standing over like a wallflower. And she's like, I have never been surrounded by this many people before in my entire life. And I have never felt more alone than I do right now. And that is kind of the impetus for where she started to write a lot of these songs from. She also said later on, as she was working on these songs, she started to give a lot more of them, a lot of that 90s club music sound. And the whole thing is a tribute to the 90s club scene. And she said that she started to do that because it had been just the right amount of time, so about 10 years since the 90s, that it was becoming kitsch. That was becoming like a funny, like, oh, you remember how we used to do that when we were teenagers? Ha 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 ha. Now we're all adults. Excuse me.
You're all right.
It's also a very long album.
Yes.
There are 15 tracks in the version we're going to talk about. The US version has 16 tracks. If you listen to the extended version, I think there's something like 30-something tracks on it. But the version we're listening to is 61 minutes and 40 seconds long.
It's long.
It is very long. And it is, because of that, not something you're probably just going to throw on your way to work or something, maybe for a couple of days, but it is a little bit of a longer album. So should we talk about the cover?
Yeah, I have one note for the cover.
Cool.
Are those Post-it notes?
No, but
Okay.
they look like it, right? So obviously, because this was released as part 1, part 2, this combined album, and part 3, there's some cohesion between all of the covers. They were all designed by a woman named Mary Fago, but it is spelled Fagot.
Oh.
So I'm assuming it is Fago. When I saw it, I was like,
Let's
excuse
assume
me?
that.
Yeah.
Let's just assume that.
Yeah, she's worked with a ton of musicians though. OK Go, Interpol, The White Stripes, laundry list of
Perhaps
others.
it's French. Perhaps it's Fagot.
She's based out of LA, so it could be. Oh, yeah, I don't know. She's also done a bunch of work for companies like GE, Google, YouTube. She also directed the OK Go video for The Writings on the Wall, which is a really cool single shot done in this giant warehouse where they've created all of these real world 3D optical illusions. So like one of the musicians will be standing in what looks like he's standing on a pedestal in the middle of a giant like
Oh, yeah, I've
3D
seen that
space,
one.
and then he walks off because it's actually just a drawing that
Yeah.
he was standing and the camera was positioned just right. Yeah, she
cool.
directed that.
Wow.
There's a person named Lucy McRae who's credited with art direction and as the body architect,
All right.
which I'd never heard that term before. Lucy's actually an Australian citizen. She leads an art research studio investigating technology and scientific impacts on the planet and natural world.
I like that.
Right? She does a whole bunch of art that is futurist art. It's very interesting. Like it's hard to describe because it's very much like scenes from a science fiction movie that never got made. I guess is a good way to put it. But there are scenes of people like, oh, this person's going into suspended animation, and it will be this giant weird piece of equipment she's made, and the person will be like, look like they're in a giant plastic bag getting sucked into this machine or something, and like they're very interesting pieces. She worked on all the various versions of the Body Talk covers, and she also worked on the music video for Indestructible, one of the songs in here. For this cover, though, she hung a whole bunch of these tiny squares. I could not figure out what they were actually made out of.
Right.
But I'm assuming maybe like cardstock or something, maybe plastic. But she hung them all on these strings, and they are printed with an image of Robyn. But they're hung in such a way where Robyn can stand inside of it like it's an outfit.
Ah.
And so she's standing there to get her picture taken, so you can see her through the open parts of it.
Yeah.
But then her image is printed on the front of it as well.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. There's also for the music video, she also made this very weird. They called it a knitted piece, but it's knitted with plastic tubes, and it's referred to as a liquid textile. Has all these little tubes that are filled with water and air, and it uses hundreds of liters of liquid that's pumped through kilometers of plastic tubing. It's powered by these solenoid valves to release air intermittently. So it constantly looks like it's moving.
Oh.
It's a very weird That's the
That sounds like it's right for the club, though.
right. Yeah, Indestructible music video. Go check it out.
Okay.
It's very weird. The photography is by a guy named Johan Renck. He's a Swedish photographer, cinematographer, and creative artist. He's worked on a ton of things over the years, but most famously, he was one of the cinematographers for the miniseries Chernobyl.
Okay.
He did Kylie Minogue's Love at First Sight music video from the 90s or early 2000s. And then he also did David Bowie's last music videos for Lazarus and Black Star. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
One other thing that I thought was very interesting, the credited the typography company on here. They're called Sandberg and Timonen. It's a unique typeface that was created, I believe, specifically for the covers of these albums. I couldn't find anything that's even close to it, trying to look it up. And I also couldn't find a whole lot of information about how they created it or why they created it. I'm assuming they just went to them and they were like, create a typeface for this that looks like it would fit. So, yeah,
That's cool.
That's the cover.
It's interesting.
Should we take a quick break, come back, and we'll do the track by track?
Sure.
Cool. We'll see you in a minute.
All right.
Welcome back.
Oh, hey. Fembot.
Yeah, I want to make one quick note here.
Please do.
Like I said, because we've talked about this a little bit earlier, we are going to talk about the quote-unquote standard edition, which is it basically affects the track listing. Moves track 1 and 2 and 3 and uses the full version of Dancing on My Own, not the radio version that's found on the US and Canadian versions of the album.
Yes.
So if you are used to that version, if you're used to the radio edit, it does sound totally different than the full version.
You know, I'm so used to it.
I know you're completely used to it.
That just screws up my whole plan.
All right. Fembot, like you mentioned.
Yeah, if you didn't know what you were getting into before, well, you do now.
Right
away.
Launches right into it.
Song reached number 3 on the Swedish singles chart, number 10 on the Norwegian singles chart, so big in the Scandinavian countries up there. It seems to be about turning old or getting older and thinking about having kids and stuff like that. But she has said, I read an interview with her that she said people expect things of you, like kids and marriage, and I found myself just thinking of that a lot while making this record. So the song is about that in a way, but it's also fun. I'm playing around with the concept of being a woman, what it means to be physically be able to carry kids, but at the same time, that's not always what you see yourself as a mother.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one of the things that I got thinking about doing the research for this was where that idea of a fembot came from. So obviously in science fiction, one of the progenitors of modern science fiction and film is Fritz Lang's Metropolis from 1927. And that's kind of where that idea, as we picture it in modern times, was born. There was also in the 60s and 70s Heavy Metal.
Oh yeah,
the comic
cartoon.
books, the comic books, and then the cartoon film really continued to popularize it. They also the actual term fembot maybe didn't come from this, but was popularized in the 70s by the TV show The Bionic Woman, where fembots were created by the villainous Dr. Franklin as deadly android infiltrators and assassins.
It's a good show.
I had never heard of the villainous Dr. Franklin.
You missed out.
What a plain name for a villain. Sounds like somebody's pediatrician. Like, oh, we got to go visit Dr. Franklin.
Oh, not again.
But we have to visit the villainous Dr. Franklin.
Got to break through his fembots to get to him.
But like you said,
The villainous Dr. Franklin.
Robyn here utilizes it to talk about, getting older and the expectations that everybody has that, like, oh, well, you're 30, you have to have kids now, and you have to settle down, and you have to get married, and yada, yada, yada. But she also uses it to talk about how women are treated and how they're often thought of like robots, and their only purpose is to be a mother and be a wife and to, raise children, and then you can throw them away and, move on in society, which is very sad.
It's very sad.
Fembot sounds like this.
I've got some news for you. Fembots have feelings too. You split my heart in two. Now what you gonna do? Once you contact, you ain't never going back. I'm high tech, baby.
Robotic,
Right?
synthetic hand claps. It's very 90s.
Yeah.
But there's a commentary there about objectification and stuff like that. It's pretty evident. Like, if you're going to treat me like a machine, fine, then I'll kind of be my own computer.
Right? And that's kind of a theme in all of Robyn's music, from maybe not the very beginning, but from very early on, is don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me how to act. Don't tell me what you think I should be. I'm going to be myself, and you're going to adapt to me.
Oh, and that couldn't be any more evident than in the next song.
Right? Don't fucking tell me what to do.
Yeah. Whoa, Kyle.
Matthew.
God. It wasn't.
Sorry.
Right? But it's anxiety.
Yeah.
In enlisted form. Kind of over the beat. She's cataloging like really existential dread.
Yeah.
Like she's reading from a bad like OS. Like, oh crap, my drinking is killing me. My smoking is killing me. My makeup is killing me. And at first you're kind of like, oh, this is making me really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't stop. And then if you're listening to it in headphones like I was, it gets claustrophobic.
It does.
You're like, oh, hey,
For that very reason,
hey, stop it.
this is actually my least favorite song on this album.
I like this song.
I think that it has a very good point. I think that it has it's very poignant, but it also, I don't like listening to this song. It does exactly that. It makes me feel claustrophobic. It makes me feel like it's oppressive and it keeps coming in on you.
You're familiar. We've talked about intrusive thoughts before.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like listening. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Enough.
Yeah.
Enough.
So, what I thought was very interesting was I assumed this song was all about other people telling Robyn what to do.
Yes,
And
you would expect that. Yes.
in a Billboard interview from 2010, she said, quote, "I wrote that song after being on tour for a long time. It's directed at myself for putting too much work on me. I brought it on myself."
Well, this kind of falls back to what you had said before. Her physical breakdown of mental exhaustion. Like, okay, yeah, then she's a workaholic or whatever you want to label that as. Yeah.
It sounds like this.
My drinking is killing me. My smoking is killing me.
It's pretty short clip, but that's basically the whole song.
It is the whole song.
Yeah. because there's 15 tracks we got to get through, I kept a few of these clips a little short. But honestly, this one, like I said, it makes me feel very uncomfortable enough so that I'm like, this is one I usually skip if I'm listening to it as an album, or if it comes up on shuffle.
All right.
I'm like, next.
Interesting.
And the next is Dancing on My Own.
So, for me, not a dance club, not a dance music guy, this is kind of the centerpiece of the record. Mm-hmm. And I feel like this is the one that I've heard before. I couldn't tell you where I heard it, but it feels familiar somehow. It's got that very simple kind of synth arpeggio, very four on the floor. Obviously it's a dance song. Yeah. So, and it's telling the story of watching someone you love fall in love with someone else in real time on the dance floor.
Yeah.
And it's not a metaphor for anything. It's just there it is.
Yeah, you're watching it happen. And the lyrics from this are taken from that experience that I was talking about earlier, where she was in a nightclub and she felt like she was the loneliest she'd ever been in her entire life, even though she was completely surrounded by people. And then she started to picture this idea of like, what if my former boyfriend was here with his ex? How would I feel about that? And it grew out of that idea. She also took a lot of inspiration here from a bunch of disco songs. And also that same kind of the electronic noise here is from a lot of the 90s dance music that inspired the whole album. But she specifically called out Sylvester, the musician, the disco musician, Donna Summer, and Ultravox, specifically their hit song Dancing with Tears in My Eyes. Because
Ultravox is fantastic.
Yeah.
Mid-year, man. That's good stuff. Yeah. Ultravox was awesome.
Right?
In the early 80s. That was early 80s stuff.
Yeah.
And it isn't, so to me, it wasn't just about the lyrics to this song, though. It's the music. It never gets where you want it to go. It keeps going, right? But it never like resolves itself. So then you start putting it into context of what she's going through, or like being in a club where it doesn't care if your heart's getting broken. Someone just keeps pounding out that damn rhythm over and over, and it's never stopping, and it's never stopping, it's never stopping, and you got to keep dancing even though you're like completely miserable. People are still dancing. It's like, oh my god,
it does that.
Like resolve.
It has that feeling of you're like, and it should move on at some point. There should be a little bit of like it should change a little bit, and then when it changes. It does, but it does it in a way where it keeps dragging you. Oh, you're like, no, like down. And
it's different. It's interesting.
It was something that had not occurred to me until listening to it to do this. And I was like, oh yeah, it does that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just keeps going.
And what it kind of reminded me of, there's a Simpsons episode, a newer season Simpsons episode, where Bart becomes a DJ, but he never drops the beat. And he keeps going and going, and then everybody just like explodes. They're just like, it turns into chaos because nobody ever gets that resolution. And I was immediately like, oh yeah, that's what this song is. It sounds like this. Yeah. So there's a couple of places where you might have heard this. So number one is this has been covered by a lot of different people, including there's a couple of acoustic covers of it. I can't remember who did the one maybe 10-ish years ago, but more recently there's a country singer named Callum Scott who did a country version of it.
Really?
That's been super, super popular all over the internet.
I believe that.
Robyn also recently paid tribute to David Byrne from the band Talking Heads during the SNL 50, the Homecoming concert at Radio City Music Hall just last year.
Yeah.
By doing, she did a Talking Heads song, and then she did this song, and David Byrne came out in his giant suit that she was also wearing, and they did this song together.
Cute.
So that might also be where you heard it from. But it was super popular when it came out. This was definitely the hit from this album. Guardian UK voted it their #1 dance track of 2010, and it was nominated for a Grammy for Best Dance Recording.
No.
Yeah. So it got a lot of radio play.
It's a good song.
Yeah. Indestructible.
So this was originally an acoustic ballad that turned into a full-blown dance number.
Yeah. And if you go back and listen to Body Talk Part 2, that has the acoustic version on it. So it's still available. It's still out there. And it's interesting to see how they changed between the two albums. In an interview with MTV, Robyn said, at the time the music video for it came out, Robyn said, quote, "I think Indestructible is a song that talks about what happens when you meet new people and fall in love and how that can be scary and fun at the same time. And the video is made to give you a picture of what sex really is, which I think is something that's very hard to do because sex is everywhere all the time, but very rarely is it made out to be something real."
What was the first thing you said in that?
It's a song that talks about what happens when you meet new people and fall in love and how that can be scary and fun at the same time.
Okay, so that's similar to what I wrote. I wrote,
Oh, interesting.
euphoria and terror feel almost identical in the body.
Very interesting.
So being super, super elated and super, super terrified are equally adrenalizing. Yeah.
Fascinating that you both the music brought you to the same conclusion.
Yeah. Very strange.
Yeah. Sounds like this.
Oh.
So, every time I hear a word like indestructible or invulnerable or invaluable, I start to think about that thing. Why does indestructible mean not destructible and invulnerable mean not vulnerable, but invaluable means very valuable?
Well, it's a good question. It's like infamous.
Yes.
So not just famous.
Yeah.
Infamous.
So I looked it up. So destructible comes from the Latin word destructibilius, which translates as tear down or demolish, but literally translates as unbuild. So adding the in from Latin to the beginning means to add the word not to it.
So not unbuild?
Yes. So indestructible
That's
means
a double negative.
Not able to be unbuilt.
That's a double negative.
Right? Vulnerable comes from the Latin word vulnus, which means wound, injury, a blow, or a cut. So adding into it means not able to be injured or cut.
Okay. That makes more sense than not to be unable to unbuild.
Not able to be unbuilt. Valuable comes from Latin as well. Valere, which means to be strong, be well, or be of worth. So invaluable means to be not strong, not well, or not of worth.
But no, I thought...
But it doesn't work,
But it
right?
doesn't.
I don't know. I didn't get that one. I'm like, wait a minute, but it doesn't mean that.
No, invaluable means more than... Not just valuable, invaluable.
Yeah. And inflammable means flammable. So
Flammable.
I don't know. I didn't get any closer is what I'm getting at. I did all this research and I'm like, and then it's like, no, that should mean wait, what?
It sounds like you didn't... Yeah.
I didn't get anywhere.
It's almost irresolvable.
It's irresolvable.
So not to be resolved?
Not to be resolved.
Exactly.
Not able to be unresolved.
Not able to be unresolved.
Time machine?
Ooh. Another sci-fi metaphor.
Yeah. Lots of writers on this one. Max Martin, Shellback, Sophia Somajo, Robyn, and Klaus Alland all wrote the lyrics for this one together.
Yeah, it's another bouncy song, right? But
Yeah.
the emotional core, just like we've talked about, this is about regret.
Yeah.
If I had a time machine, would I change it? Or would I just break it differently?
Yeah.
And the line, hey, you get street cred if your lines are, all I want is a DeLorean.
Yeah.
If I could go just like that, I'd be taking it back.
Yeah.
Okay. Credibility for me if you mention a
Right?
DeLorean.
I am super curious that I wrote that down too, and I have been told by a couple of people that is no longer the touchstone that it is for our generation.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, and I was kind of like, oh.
What do they say? Like
they
TARDIS or something?
What's funny is they understand what the DeLorean is. They understand what the
know.
DeLorean is from like the the pop culture reference, but they don't understand it in the context of the films.
Well, maybe they should go watch them.
Right? That'd be a great idea.
So what's their time machine then?
I don't know. Yeah.
Notebook?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it the Notebook?
The Notebook, maybe? I don't know.
Well, what the hell is it?
I don't know.
Somebody tell me.
We're going to have to do some research here.
All right.
I am curious to know, though. So she kind of alludes to it in 3 different ways. And you nailed 2 of them, I think, already. Is, would she go back and do it all again? Would she go back and screw it up in a different way?
Yeah.
My third one was, would she go back and break it off so she doesn't have to deal with it?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's...
I don't know. She kind of alludes to all 3. It sounds like this.
Yeah, who's laughing now? Didn't think you'd actually go stupid. Being on my bitchin'. Being on my bitchin'.
I feel like that's robotic me and all my bitch, and I need that on a soundboard at work. Just
Please do.
No, honestly, though, this is a fun song. It's a
Get
little bit more of
soundboard.
a.
Please get a soundboard.
I should hook it up to the comm system at work. I'd
Yeah.
be fired in days.
We do it all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure. But, yeah. I'll tell you why that's a bad idea later. Yeah, I like this song though. I think it's fun.
Me too.
And it's one that doesn't like. I always forget that this is on this album for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe because it's such a mishmash. But Love Kills.
This is one of the darker tracks on the
Yeah.
album. I kind of dig it. Let's be honest. I've never been a dance song guy. In long doses like this, it grinds on me. It really does. But I broke this listening experience up into a few songs at a time. Just tasteful doses. And I dig this song a lot.
Nice.
Louder the better. I'm not going to run to this or listen to this in my car, but it would make a great workout album.
That's very true. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds are excellent on it.
Yeah. This one's all about protecting yourself from love if you're not ready to get into a relationship yet. So if you're going to fool around and, date and dance and whatever, God, I sound like a dad from the 50s. If you kids are going to date and dance and whatever.
Now, Beaver,
Yeah, now Beav,
leave some room for the Holy Spirit, will you?
make sure you're at least 2 Bibles widths apart. Yeah. Yeah. But it's definitely I like this one a lot. It sounds like this.
If you're looking for love, get a heart made of steel, 'cause you know that love kills. Don't go messing with love, it'll hurt you for real. Don't you know that love kills?
I think you would have made a great 50s dad.
I probably would have. That's where I missed out.
That would have been your spot to shine.
Right? Come home from the war with just huge loads of trauma, and then I've got to take a job as a drafter or some shit.
Oh, yeah.
Pop out 3 kids and get married.
What are you, Mike Brady?
Yeah, why not? This is your new grocery store. That looks exactly like your house. Oh, it's a great design. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite bits from the
Oh,
Brady Bunch
they're
movie.
all the same?
Where every one of his buildings is the same, and it's the house that they live in. It's one of my favorite bits from that movie. This thing has a really interesting song structure. It starts with the chorus, which I thought was pretty interesting. Has a nice lyrical shout out to Ice Cube's hit song "Check Yourself" from the album Predator. In the line "Protect yourself because you'll wreck yourself." A lot of people I found out online also take this song very literally and think it's about protecting yourself with a condom from getting an STD. I guess you could take it that way, but I don't think that's the way it was intended.
People like to be really literal.
Right? Hang With Me?
So do they take this one literal too?
Probably, yeah. You got to get up on the monkey bars, and both of you got to hang there, and who can hang longer?
So again, there's 2 versions of this. A very stripped down acoustic version of it, and this kind of, very dancey body talk version.
Yeah.
Preemptive defense. Listening to this song. She's not saying don't love me. She's saying understand what loving me actually means. It's wrapped in this very shimmery synth pop. And this is very weird. As I was like making notes for this, I thought dance albums were all supposed to be about sex and stuff. This is way more emotionally vulnerable than I expected it to be. Like, I'm like reading through the lyrics and I'm like, well, this is totally counterintuitive to what it sounds like. Like, I mean, you're going to write like this, it should be crushing. And I'm like, but stop, let's go dance. Let's go.
That's amazing. Yeah, this was actually Klaus Holland, who collaborated with her on a lot of these, wrote this several years beforehand. And his at the time wife, a woman named Paula Bruna, recorded it for her debut studio album called Stock City Girl, which came out in 2002. So this was quite a while beforehand. When they started to work on this album or on the singles that would become this album together, he brought Robyn a bunch of his old work, and she latched onto this one and said, let's take that and let's rewrite it and let's change it and let's turn it into something new. So those two songs and then the acoustic version of this song, they all sound very different from one another.
Yeah.
The lyrics are very similar across the board, but the three songs are, you would not, if you didn't know they were the same song, you didn't pick out those lyrics, you'd never know. This was one of the first songs recorded for Body Talk. And it's like you said, it's a song about being truthful in your relationship. And it sounds like this.
Will you tell me once again how we're gonna be just friends? If you're for real and not pretend, then I guess you can hang with me. And if you do me right, I'm gonna do right by you. And if you keep it tight, I'm gonna confide in you. I know what's on your mind, there will be time for that too. If you hang with me.
I actually picked the part of the song that's a little bit less dancey than the rest of it.
It's not quite as dancey.
Yeah, it really like ramps up after that. But yeah, another one. This is another really good song off of this album, and I think it's probably another one of the ones that has shown up in quite a few other places. I know it's been used in TV and movies quite a few times.
It's possible I've heard more of these than I think I have, but especially like at walk-in for shows or something, I've probably passed
Pre-show
through,
music
right?
and stuff. Yeah. I mean, they're definitely songs that get people amped up. Like you said, they're great, like exercise music.
Yeah.
And I could definitely see people using it for that. I did love this quote too from Tom Ewing from The Guardian UK. And he referred to this song as the perfect counterpoint to Dancing on My Own, which sure, okay, I can see that. But also praised it as, quote, sounding like the best Pet Shop Boys record in 15 years. And I was like, oh yeah, all right.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I do like the Pet Shop Boys.
Right? Call Your Girlfriend.
Wow. So correct me if I'm wrong. This song is about Robyn coaching a man on how to break up with his current girlfriend because he's choosing Robyn.
Exactly. That's exactly what it's about.
So it should feel mean, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's the lyrics are actually oddly compassionate.
Yeah.
The lyrics tell her not to get upset, second guessing everything you said and done. So she isn't celebrating that he's breaking up with her. She's kind of acknowledging that, oh, it's going to suck for everybody at first, and then makes it danceable because of course she does.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly what it's about. And it's like you said, I think that it's very interesting that she takes a very compassionate approach to it. And she's like, this is something we have to do. If we're going to become a couple, you need to break up with your girlfriend, but you need to do it gently. You need to make her feel okay about it. And you can't just call and break up with her. This one did really well. In the U.S., it reached #1 on the Hot Dance Club songs, which is Robyn's highest peaking song on the chart. It was nominated for the Grammy Award for Best Dance Recording at the 2012 Grammy Awards.
Oh.
And Max Vitale directed the song's music video, which features Robyn dancing alone in a vacant warehouse. This was shot in a single take, kind of referring back to the other music video we talked about before. And they weren't sure if they were going to be able to pull it off, but apparently they did in one take. And that's what became the music video for it. So it's a cool music video. It's not quite as creative as some of the other ones, but it's nice. Call Your Girlfriend sounds like this.
Nice.
It's nice.
Call your girlfriend.
Gotta overact hitting that pad.
Right? None of them.
So this is featuring Royce Kopp, which is that vocal duo that you mentioned. It's a little colder sounding song. It's different. It's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that I like this one so much.
This is not my favorite song on this
Oh,
album.
okay.
Robyn told DMY Magazine way
doing
back
it
in
right.
2010, quote, "None of them is very important because it was very unexpected what it became. It doesn't sound like anything Royce Kopp has done before or I've done before," which I think is very true. It doesn't sound like either of their works.
Well, considering I haven't heard anything else by Royce Kopp, then I will have to take her word for it. Who am I to argue with Robyn?
right? This song sounds like this.
Play some kind of new sound, something true and sincere. I've got a little girl singing on repeat in my head.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like it either. The thing that really does it for me, or doesn't do it for me, I guess, is there's a lot of like stereoscopic movement in it, and you hear it, sounds and things going from ear to ear,
You're getting weirded out.
especially when you're using headphones.
Yeah.
It's very unsettling.
It's not in time.
Yeah, that too.
Oh, you don't. Do you get unsettled typically when you listen to music in headphones, or no?
No, not usually.
Okay.
Occasionally, so there is something that some people do with that stereo thing that messes with me, and
Yeah.
I'm like, nope, okay, can't listen to this song.
Like
in
quick
headphones.
panning or
Yeah.
or
Now,
oscillating.
Here's the thing: is if it's an effect and it's done like once or twice, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But if it's through a song, like they're like, oh, every beat is like here, 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 here. I'm like, that doesn't feel right. It's only in headphones though. If I listen to it even on a nice set of speakers
Yeah.
that are stereo separated, not a problem.
Okay.
So, Robyn did say this is a song about being bored, and I find it to be kind of a boring song, so that makes perfect sense.
Yep.
We dance to the beat.
See, this is more of a dance song that I would expect. It's layered, like one step at a time.
Yeah.
Like first it's this instrument, and then it's just boom, 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 and it keeps piling on top
Yeah.
of one another, and that's the kind of dance music that I expect.
There you go.
Yeah.
This one's a little bit more upbeat than that last track, but I also find this one kind of boring. She says the phrase, "we dance to the beat" 66 times in this song.
That's it?
And I don't even think 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
That's a lot of
So,
times
Yeah.
in 3 minutes.
Yeah. It sounds like this.
Of another recycled rebellion, of consolidating assets, of another crowd losing it, of your voice breaking up in static, of suburbia burning, of communication gone mad.
Monitors. Yeah. The vocal effects in the song are kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's a song that I definitely think was very ripe for remixing, and I know there's a couple people that have remixed it, but not one of my favorites. Rolls into "You Should Know Better," this is another one that got quite a bit of radio play because it features Snoop Dogg.
Because sure, why not?
Ooh wee.
This, of course it features Snoop Dogg.
Well, so what you got to understand is in 2007, I believe, Robyn and Snoop Dogg hooked up in LA and did a song called "Sensual Seduction." And they liked working with each other so much that Robyn was like,
Of course.
you got to come and collaborate with me. You got to come and collaborate with me. So when she was back in LA, they got together again and they did this song. And they just kind of worked it out a little bit in the studio. She went with a really early version of it. They worked the rest of it out in the studio. They worked out the lyrics and everything. And then they just recorded it. Yeah, it's... I like this song. I think it's really fun.
Yeah.
I think that it's not like a typical Snoop song. So, if that's what you're looking for, it's not that. And it sounds like this.
You should know better than to fuck with me. If you knew better, you would do better. You should know better.
You should know better.
You should know better than to fuck with me.
If you knew better, you would do better.
I mean, seriously, in this time of crap politicians, we need more Snoop.
We do.
The country needs Snoop. The world needs Snoop.
Snoop Dogg, save us all.
It's a better world with him in it, covering the Olympics, doing whatever the hell he wants to do.
Cooking with Martha Stewart.
I don't care what he does. It's all better when
It
he
is.
does it.
Yeah. The opening of this song, I think, is really funny because it's kind of Robyn and Snoop going all around the world to different places and what they would do in those places. And so at the beginning, Robyn intentionally mispronounces a whole bunch of French words as like a double joke, both to the idea of like, hey, we're a couple of foreign tourists in France. We're going to mispronounce all your language, but also kind of to that French idea how they're a little snobby about their language when foreign people try to use it.
What?
My favorite line in this is when they're in Rome. She says, quote, "We need a black pope and she better be a woman. There'll be no more celibacy. Even the Vatican knows not to fuck with me." I love it. This is such a fun song. It's a collaboration I never would have imagined working as well as it does. It's so much fun.
Name a collaboration with Snoop that doesn't work.
That's true. Dance Hall Queen.
That's different than the last song.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a reggae.
Yeah.
A little bit of reggae.
It's very reggae. She co-wrote this song with Diplo, the
Diplo?
DJ Diplo. She originally came up with this when they were having a discussion about Ace of Base.
Oh,
I'm like, all right.
all right.
Has a reggae rhythm to it.
I believe they're Swedish as well.
Yeah, I think so.
I think they are.
There's a call out in the lyrics here to something called slang tang, which is an iconic reggae and dancehall rhythm from Wayne Smith, based on a computerized track on the Casio MT40,
Oh.
which is where they pulled it from. And it sounds like this.
Keep me out all you like. I came to dance, not to socialize.
Super
Whoa,
quick.
that was quick.
Yeah, that was a quick. This one, to me, I have no connection with this song.
None?
None. It doesn't, to me, like... It's one of those songs where I'm like, okay, it's certainly a song, and it's fine.
I mean, it's definitely a song.
Yeah, but it doesn't connect with me at all. So, Get Myself Together.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. This is a song about knowing you need to move on from a relationship. You're seeing all the signs, and she calls them out as red lights.
Yeah.
And steeling yourself up to actually do it.
Sounds like a very adult song.
It is.
Yeah.
And it sounds like this.
When this hurt is gone, I got to get myself together. Can't stand to see you upset, but you already know.
About that? Ass of Bass.
Ass of Base confirmed to be from Sweden. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just a dance song.
Yeah, it really is. And this is one of the things that the back half of this album with 15 plus tracks on it, you start to get to a point where you're like, okay, this is another dance song, and this is another dance song, and this is another dance song, and
Right.
they're
this
not
is another,
bad, but
it's another one of those records that could benefit from editing.
Yeah.
From someone stepping in and saying, great, you have all those songs. How about 12?
yeah, I agree. In My Eyes, I like this song a lot.
Me too.
I think that it's sad that it's this far down on it. I love the call out right at the beginning, which you'll hear in a second, to Konnichiwa Records.
Konnichiwa.
I don't know why. It's just funny every time I hear it. Sounds like this.
Konnichiwa Records. It's gonna be okay. Okay.
We the best. DJ Khaled, Konnichiwa Records. Father Omar.
That's what it felt like.
Right?
It's a glossy song. Very.
It's very,
I dig it. I actually kind of dig those sounds in this song.
yeah. It's all about, like, after the breakup. You know what? Everything's going to be okay. You're a star. You're going to rise back up into the sky. Everything's going to be okay. Just because you break up with one person, it's not the end of the world.
Oh,
I think that's a great message for a song.
that is a good message for a song.
And then followed up by one that I'm like, this is another one that probably could have just...
It's
gone.
another
Would've been
song.
fine. Stars Forever.
Very poppy.
Another super repetitive dance song, really similar to We Dance to the Beat. Sounds like this.
I can be right there next to you.
you are.
I feel
I
like
missed that part.
that last song, besides being the last song on the record, I feel like that's a setup to be the last song in a concert.
Yes, I could absolutely see that being
Very up, very like everybody, up.
I could absolutely see that.
Yeah, kind of shimmery, very, very hopeful at the end. Very, yay. Yeah.
So that's Body Talk by Robyn. I'm glad you kind of liked it.
Yeah, I had the little wrap up that I wrote. You know, she understands the dance floor really well.
Yeah.
But she also understands you could be anxious and you can be heartbroken, you could be jealous, you could be strong, you could be petty, and you could still dance.
Yeah.
And that kind of puts all those things in there for that, which makes it very interesting. It's a good record. It's not something I would listen to regularly.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't listen to the whole thing.
Yeah, again, I think that it's one that I like the fact that, you know, the tracks on here are more complete versions of what was on part 1 and part 2. I like that she went back and tweaked them and finished them and turned them into something more cohesive. I love that. But I also 100% think what we were just talking about, somebody being there to say, hey, let's cut this down to 11 tracks.
Yeah.
Or 10 tracks. Get rid of some, put them on part 3 later on or whatever. I think that would have helped this album and launched it even farther.
Yeah, some of it just feels like filler.
Yeah.
Where you're just stuffing things on there to do it. And
which is
at what expense? Like if you have that many tracks, hold some back.
Yeah. Which is even weirder in this case because it is just largely a compilation of tracks from other albums.
Right.
So it's like, why
been
cram them in here?
You could have been much more judicious about what you were choosing. But it's not a bad record at all. I think it's a good record.
Yeah. Like I said, it's right place, right time for me. That it's just something that has stuck around with me for 16 years now, and it's something that I'll still listen to if I need to get amped up or if I've got to do a bunch of cleaning. A lot of the times, this is an album that gets put on because I skip a couple of the tracks, but it's something that keeps the the heart rate up and it keeps you moving and it keeps you you don't have to focus on it. You can just kind of have it on in the background and
I think that's important though. It's important for everybody to have records like that. Clearly, this album resonates with you because you've had a smile on your face this whole episode. So I know that it's an important record to you, and that's what music does. Some music finds its way to people in different ways for different reasons, and as long as it resonates and helps you through times, that's really what it's there to do. So I'm good. I'm glad you shared it with me. I'm glad you shared it with everybody. I think that's important.
Yeah, I want to know, what are albums like this for everybody else out there listening?
Yeah, tell us.
So how do they get in touch with us, Matthew, to let us know?
You can get a hold of us at facebook.com/audiojudo, or you can go to Instagram at audio_judo, or you can send us an email at info@audiojudo.com. You can find us at YouTube at youtube.com/@audiojudo. Any of those ways, we would be happy to get back to you. I was answering a bunch of comments today on our YouTube channel from episodes going back to Jane's addiction. So it was a while ago. So we do respond, we do listen, we do take suggestions into consideration when we're planning out our year. So let us know what you think and what albums resonate and are special with you, and we'll see what we can cram into our schedule.
Yeah. We've also got a Patreon if you're interested in a little bit more from us. Basically, we do have some, we call them Judo Chops. They're little short episodes. I need to get on top of.
I have about 15 of them that I've already done that I just need to upload to Randy.
Yeah.
They're just sitting on a drive somewhere.
I think I've done 2 or 3 as well that I got to find again. But we've got some more coming soon, we'll say. But the other thing you can get from the Patreon, we have a $1 tier where it's just you just get a shout out at the end of every episode. We got a $5 tier where you get access to those little Judo Chops. And we've got a $20 tier where not only do you get access to those Judo Chops, but after 1 year at that tier, you get to pick an episode to record with us. Generally, we're going to be doing that remotely unless you really want to pay to fly to Las Vegas. But yeah, well, we've got a couple of those coming up, I think, this year too.
Yeah.
So, but shout out to our current patrons. The Shout It Out Loud tier, Simon C., our UK consultant, John R., and David W. Thank you so much. And at the Backstage Pass tier, Christian S., Michael A., Michael S., and Scott K. Thank you all so much for your support. We could not keep doing this without you guys.
Thank you so much. And we have episodes coming up from, oh, what a surprise, Rush. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We said something about, I think probably said counterparts last week, but I switched that. We're going to do Presto now.
Okay.
I had already told you that.
Yeah.
And then I know Kyle's got a bunch of stuff in the hopper too. So more stuff.
More stuff.
So
It'll be, here's what we can guarantee.
Yeah.
There'll be albums
yeah,
by musicians
yes,
that were released before now.
correct.
Yeah, there you go.
Probably not another 21 Pilots thing where we're doing it on 2 days after it came out.
Not for a while,
Yeah.
anyways.
So another episode in 2 weeks. Until
Yeah.
then, thanks for joining us, and we will talk to you then.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.